Welcome, deeply curious minds, to The Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a concept that, well, it might sound a bit like a riddle at first, maybe even a cruel joke sometimes.
Yeah, it can feel that way.
Yet it's this profound truth that guided some really resilient historical figures through, unimaginable hardship. It gave them not just survival, but like actual triumph.
Hmm.
We're going to explore how the very things that seem to block our path, the obstacles that drive us crazy or make us despair, how they can actually become the path itself.
That's a huge shift, isn't it?
It really is.
Uh-huh.
How's that for a paradigm shift? Our sources for this deep dive are pretty rich, mainly drawing from the timeless wisdom of Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. You find it in texts like the Enchiridion and Meditations.
Yeah, and there are some great modern takes, too, showing how relevant this stuff still is.
Absolutely. So our mission today is basically to unpack the truth behind Marcus Aurelius's really potent, almost paradoxical line. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
It's a statement that really, really challenges our gut reactions. When we hit a wall, what do we normally do?
Get mad, give up.
Exactly. Frustration, anger, maybe despair. We see it as just a roadblock, something to get around, or maybe just smash through with brute force.
Right.
But the Stoics, they offer this radical reframe. What if that very obstacle isn't just something to be, reluctantly put up with, but is actually the precise path forward?
Okay.
What if it's an opportunity, like custom made for you, to practice things like patience, courage, creativity, inner strength? It's not just about getting past the obstacle, it's about growing through it.
That distinction feels crucial, getting past versus growing through.
It is.
And to really get the raw power of this idea, let's maybe start not with theory, but with a really visceral story.
Yeah.
Extreme adversity.
Good idea.
Yeah, imagine being shot down from the sky.
Yeah.
Captured. Then subjected to just unimaginable torture for over 7 years in a brutal POW camp.
Hard to even picture.
That was the reality for Captain James Stockdale, U.S. Navy pilot, Vietnam War. As his plane was going down, a thought flashed through his mind. Not terror, not despair, but philosophical readiness.
Yeah.
He told himself calmly he was entering the world of Epictetus.
Wow. Just think about that for a second. This wasn't some, abstract thought in a comfy seminar room.
No.
This was immediate recognition. This huge challenge, the terror, the uncertainty he was facing, that was the ultimate lab for his Stoic training.
He knew it wasn't just going to be physical pain.
Right. It was an assault on his spirit, his will, his identity, and he was ready for it. Not because he wanted it, obviously, but because he saw it for what it was, an unavoidable reality that was also, strangely, an opportunity to apply his deepest principles.
And his story isn't just about survival. It's this powerful, almost unbelievable example of philosophy applied under the absolute worst conditions. His captors tried relentlessly to break him, use him for propaganda.
Yeah, those demoralizing videos they tried to make.
Exactly. So in this incredible act of defiance, committed to his principles, never betraying his country or his men, he purposely, severely injured himself.
It's hard to stomach what he did.
He shattered his own kneecap with a stool, bashed his face up, disfigured himself so they couldn't use him in those videos. He literally harmed his body to preserve his integrity.
He understood with just crystal clarity that while he couldn't control the external stuff, the prison, the torture,
Nothing he could do about that.
he could control his response, his inner world, his judgments, with unwavering resolve. And that is the core of what we're digging into today, this unshakable idea that our mindset, our perception of obstacles, is way more important than the obstacles themselves.
It's a testament to that idea of true freedom, right? Not controlling events, but controlling your reaction to them.
Absolutely. And this isn't some new idea from modern warfare. It goes way back, right to the start of Stoicism. Think about Zeno of Citium, the guy who founded the whole school.
Yep.
His journey didn't start with study. It started with a personal catastrophe, a shipwreck. Cost him everything he owned. His cargo, his fortune, gone.
Wow. Losing everything like that. Most people would just crumble, wouldn't they? Total despair.
You'd think so. But Zeno, looking back on that disaster, famously said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck."
He didn't say it was good.
No, not good that he lost everything. But through that loss, he found something way more valuable. The thing that seemed to ruin him actually became the catalyst for his true calling.
So, with nothing left.
Nothing tying him to his old life, he ends up in Athens, gets drawn into philosophy, and eventually found Stoicism. He literally found fortune in misfortune. The obstacle became the way.
That ancient echo, turning adversity into advantage.
Hmm.
It sets the stage perfectly for digging into this discipline of perception.
Exactly. What Zeno's experience and later Stockdale's really highlight is that fundamental Stoic principle. What troubles people is not things, but their judgments about things.
That's the cornerstone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so critical to get the full weight of it. External events by themselves, they're neutral. A job loss, a breakup, an injury, even a global pandemic,
Just facts.
they just are.
Yeah.
In their raw, objective form, they don't have inherent good or bad labels stuck to them. It's our subjective take, the story we immediately spin inside our heads, often fueled by fear, anxiety, past stuff that assigns the badness or goodness.
So an obstacle is only bad if we decide it is, if we label it that way.
Precisely. If we choose to see it as this insurmountable wall instead of maybe a challenge, a test, or yeah, even an opportunity.
Okay, so the first step then, this incredibly powerful step, is really about stripping away all that emotional stuff, right? All the preconceived ideas and just seeing things for what they are, objectively.
That's it. Our sources talk about learning how to limit our passions and their control over our lives.
Which doesn't mean becoming robots.
Not at all. It's not about feeling nothing. It's about stopping our emotions from totally hijacking our judgment, our reason, and making us react in ways that are, ultimately unhelpful or even destructive.
Makes sense.
It requires real skill and discipline to bat away the pests of bad perceptions, as one source puts it, to separate reliable signals from the deceptive ones, filter out prejudice, expectation, fear.
Imagine how much clearer you could see things, how much better you could act if you weren't constantly fighting your own internal anxieties or distorted ideas.
Which brings us straight to Epictetus and his really impactful concept, the dichotomy of control.
Ah, yes, this one's huge.
He just lays it out plain and simple. Of things, some are in our power and others are not. That's not a suggestion. It's like the foundational rule.
So what's in our power?
Our opinion, our impulses, our desires, our aversions, basically, whatever are our acts, our judgments, choices, responses, our character, that's our turf.
And what's not?
Pretty much everything else. Our body, property, reputation, health, what other people do, the weather, the past, whatever, are not our own acts.
Okay.
And he stresses that those things not in our power are weak, slavish, subject to restraint in the power of others. So the Stoic goal is to focus rigorously, exclusively on what's genuinely ours, our inner self judgments, reactions.
Because only then can we avoid getting hindered or complaining or being disturbed by external stuff.
Exactly. If you spend all your energy worrying about your health or what people think of you or the stock market, you're basically handing over control of your inner peace to outside forces. You're giving away your tranquility.
That feels incredibly freeing, actually, when you really think about it.
It is. It means even in the absolute worst situations, like Stockdale in prison, you still have this inner sanctuary of total control over how you choose to see and react.
It's just the whole focus, from what's happening to you to how you respond within you.
Precisely. And Marcus Aurelius himself, living this life of constant pressure as emperor, he had this powerful daily technique for achieving that objective view. He called it physical definition.
Physical definition, how does that work?
He advised, one must always make a definition or description of the object which is presented, so as to see it in itself, as it is in its essence, in its nakedness, in its totality, and in all its details.
Okay, so break it down, like literally.
Yeah, it's this amazing mental exercise. You systematically strip away all the conventional labels, the emotional layers, the value judgments, the cultural stories we automatically slap onto things.
Give me an example.
Okay. Say you're looking at a fancy meal, maybe something you feel guilty about eating. Instead of, oh, this is decadent or this is bad for me, Marcus would say, define it physically. It's some grain, a little animal muscle, a bit of fruit. See?
Just the raw components.
Exactly. Or a piece of expensive jewelry isn't precious or beautiful. It's a stone. A bit of polished metal. A scary economic downturn isn't inherently catastrophic. It's a fluctuation in market values, a reallocation of resources.
So you're seeing it for what it is, not the story about it. Wow, that feels like it would just drain the emotional charge right out of it.
It often does. It reveals the core task or the reality underneath. And this practice directly helps your inner guiding principle, what the Stoics called the hegemonicon.
Hegemonical, that's the core of you, right?
Yeah.
Your reason.
Your rational faculty, your mind, your power of choice. Exactly. The Stoics believed cultivating this inner citadel of reason was the path to tranquility because it's the only thing truly yours. It's the part of you that can observe emotions and events without getting swept away.
So by recognizing that power within,
You become independent of your body and external circumstances. That's how you find inner freedom no matter what's happening outside.
which brings us right back to Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher. He really lived this stuff, didn't he? Not just theory, but in the heat of real power and immense pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
That famous line, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That wasn't just a clever phrase for him.
Not at all. It was a core principle he applied daily throughout a reign that was, honestly, just tormented by one massive difficulty after another.
His life really is this incredible testament to applied Stoicism. His rule, what was it, 161 to 180 AD?
Yeah, and it was just plagued by this unbelievable series of challenges, devastating plagues, constant wars on multiple fronts, political backstabbing, profound personal losses, losing so many of his children.
It's staggering. I remember reading the historian Cassius Dio, who said Marcus didn't have the luck which he deserved, but was confronted throughout his reign by a multitude of disasters.
And Dio adds, "That is why I admire him more than any other, for it was amidst these extraordinary and unparalleled difficulties that he was able to survive and to save the empire." His reign was a true masterclass in living the philosophy.
And one of the most striking examples, maybe the most striking, of his stoicism in action was that revolt by Avidius Cassius.
Ah, yes, Cassius. One of his most trusted generals, hugely popular with the army, very ambitious.
Didn't he even talk about restoring the old republic, kind of subtly undermining Marcus?
He did, and
Yeah.
Marcus's co-emperor and predecessor, Lucius Verus, had actually suspected Cassius years before and told Marcus, "You need to deal with this guy, put him to death," but Marcus refused.
And then Cassius finally does it, declares himself emperor in 175 AD, betrays Marcus, throws the empire into potential civil war. What would most rulers do?
Rage, panic, immediate brutal retribution. That would be the standard playbook.
Yeah. But Marcus,
His response showed his temper and the greatness of his soul, as the historians put it, more than any military win could have. Instead of anger, which the Stoics saw as a weakness, a brief insanity,
right,
he responded with this extraordinary magnanimity, a profound commitment to justice. He explicitly said he didn't want Cassius killed. He wanted him captured alive so he could personally pardon him.
him, after trying to usurp the throne.
Yes. He even told his legions, avoid shedding Roman blood. He refused to execute Cassius, even when everyone advisors, the Senate, was screaming for his head. He tried to work for the common good, even facing direct betrayal.
He saw it as an opportunity.
An opportunity to demonstrate a higher form of leadership, to practice those Stoic virtues, goodwill even to enemies, gentleness towards obstructors, actively avoiding anger. He turned this massive personal and political betrayal into a chance to practice forgiveness, restraint, justice on the biggest stage. A potential catastrophe became a profound moral statement.
It's just incredible. How do you maintain that kind of calm, that principled stance when everything's falling apart?
Yeah.
When the betrayal comes from inside?
Well, the sources point to his intense internal practice, his inner retreat. He would constantly retreat within himself, as he put it, to reawaken those Stoic principles, reinforce his resolve to do good, act virtuously.
So it wasn't about escaping reality.
No, not denying the chaos. It was about recentering himself in his philosophy, fortifying his hegemonicon, that guiding principle, against the storm of external events.
Ah, so strengthening that inner citadel.
Exactly. This constant, deliberate internal retreat let him distinguish the causal reason and the material.
Okay, unpack that. Causal and material.
He rigorously separated the objective the material facts, like a general has revolted or a plague is spreading, from the subjective interpretations, the value judgments, the emotional reactions that we usually automatically impose. That's the causal, the reason we assign to events, often leading to fear or despair.
So like the material is the event. The causal is our story about the event being terrible or unfair.
Precisely. By making that split, Marcus could observe the event without letting his hegemonicon, his guiding principle, get thrown off course by it. He could see the thing itself without getting lost in the drama.
Wow.
Through this continuous rectification of inner discourse, constantly checking and correcting his internal monologue and judgments, he aligned his personal will with what he saw as universal nature, or logos.
So accepting what happened as just Not because it was fair, but because it was part of a bigger picture.
Yes, and crucially, because it provided the perfect opportunity for him to act virtuously within that order. It's not passive resignation, oh, well, guess this is happening. It's active alignment. Okay, this is the situation. How can I respond virtuously?
So he transformed every obstacle, every bit of bad luck, every betrayal into fuel for virtuous action. He could genuinely say, even amidst chaos, everything that happens in a just way, because it was the perfect training ground for his soul.
Amazing, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
And this isn't just ancient history or some abstract philosophy then. It feels like a living blueprint for facing challenges in our own lives right now.
Absolutely. That principle, the obstacle, is the way it applies everywhere. Modern life, business, sports, creative work, relationships.
Yeah.
You name it.
Yeah. Give us some modern examples.
Okay, well, take John D. Rockefeller, one of the most successful, definitely influential businessmen ever. Early in his career, bam, he hits the biggest market depression the world had seen up to then.
What would most people do? Panic? Sell everything?
Totally. See, only ruin.
Yeah.
But Rockefeller, even as a young guy, had this quality they called sang-froid, just unflappable coolness under pressure. He didn't just keep his head, he kept it while everyone else was losing theirs in a total panic.
So what did he do?
What's fascinating is his perspective. He didn't see disaster. He eagerly observed the momentous events. He saw the upheaval not as a roadblock, but as an opportunity to learn, a baptism in the market.
So while others panicked,
He quietly saved his money and watched what others did wrong. He used the time to spot weaknesses in the economy, inefficiencies that only showed up under that kind of stress. He learned who was solid and who wasn't.
and then
When the dust settled, he used that objective observation, that patient strategy, to position himself for unbelievable success, building Standard Oil. It just shows how a business failure, an economic crisis, any crisis really, if you look at it objectively and act deliberately, it can give you crucial lessons, unique advantages that people lost in the panic completely miss.
the chaos became the way to insight.
Exactly. The impediment led to opportunity.
Okay, what about another area, like sports?
Oh, yeah, athletics is a great one. The Stoics themselves loved using metaphors from the Olympics, especially wrestling. They saw sports as training for life's challenges, a place to train the mind and character.
So an athlete faces a tough opponent, maybe gets injured.
Right. The initial reaction. Frustration, anger, despair, totally natural responses to a setback.
But the Stoic approach,
Encourages them to see it differently, not as the end, but as a chance to learn and get stronger. Does the athlete get bogged down in complaining, letting emotions derail them? Or do they respond by working on their mental game, practicing persistence, finding new rehab strategies, building inner resilience?
it's a choice and response.
It is. Epictetus talks about renewing the combat again after failure. He says, if you once gain the victory, you are like him who has never renounced the combat. It's not about pretending the injury or loss didn't happen. It's about reframing it.
So the injury isn't a career ender.
It's an opportunity, maybe to strengthen a different muscle group, refine technique through visualization, build patience, humility, discover new training methods. It turns that perceived disadvantage into a path for real growth.
And this applies beyond sports too, right?
Absolutely. Any area where you face what feels like a disadvantage, got a demanding boss. Instead of just seeing the negative, how can that relationship teach you patience, assertiveness, better communication?
Or like creative block, limited resources on a project.
Yeah. Instead of despairing, the Stoic asks, how can this constraint spark innovation? How can this limitation force a more elegant, efficient, or original solution? Every impediment truly becomes the way if you choose to see it that way. It's about using your hegemonicon, your reason, to reframe the challenge.
This is really powerful stuff. It flips everything from being a victim of circumstance to having proactive agency.
That's the goal.
And the best way to really get these ideas working for you, to make them part of your mental toolkit, is to actually practice them.
Definitely. Theory is one thing, practice is everything.
So for our deep dive exercise today, we've got a direct, actionable journaling prompt for you. Simple, but potentially really impactful.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right. Take one obstacle you are facing right now. Could be something big, career setback, health issue, difficult relationship. Or smaller, more everyday stuff, frustrating delay, tough project, a habit you're struggling with. Just write it down clearly. Get the objective facts on paper.
Okay, got the obstacle down. Now what?
Now, here's the reframing bit. List 3 distinct ways this specific obstacle could be an opportunity for you to practice a virtue.
Like the classroom Stoic ones. Patience, courage.
Exactly. Patience, courage, wisdom, justice. But also think broader. Creativity, understanding, resilience, perseverance, humility, even generosity. How can this challenge push you to develop or show one of those virtues?
Okay, so if you're stuck in awful traffic.
Instead of just fuming, how is it an opportunity to practice patience, to listen to something useful, to just practice being still and breathing mindfully? Find 3 ways.
Got it.
And as you do this, really think about how this reframing shifts your perspective. Does it change how you feel about the obstacle? Does it maybe reveal new paths forward, paths that were hidden by your first emotional reaction?
It's not about pretending the problem isn't real.
Not at all. It's acknowledging the difficulty, then consciously choosing to find the potential within it, to tune the impediment into the path.
So, in essence, what we've really dug into today is this profound truth. Every single obstacle you encounter holds a seed of opportunity.
But it's not passive. That seed doesn't just sprout on its own.
Exactly. It is your job to find it, nourish it, cultivate it. It needs active work from your hegemonicon, your guiding reason.
By embracing this mindset, you stop just reacting to life's inevitable bumps and curveballs. You start actively shaping your response.
You're embodying that Stoic ideal, seeing every situation as an opportunity for us to act, turning those impediments into the way forward.
And that's how you gain not just strength and resilience in this often chaotic world, but also that deep inner calm, knowing you're always in charge of your inner landscape.
That sense of tranquility. And actually, that sense of tranquility, maybe even deep joy and gratitude for what we have, is something we'll explore even more next week.
Oh, what's up next?
We're going to look at a Stoic practice that, well, it sounds kind of dark on the surface, maybe counterintuitive, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools for living a life full of joy, urgency, and real appreciation for right now.
Okay, intriguing. Sounds dark, but leads to joy. What is it?
We're talking about negative visualization, sometimes called memento mori, meditating on mortality.
Thinking about loss, death. That sounds depressing.
You'd think so. But far from making you glum, this practice can profoundly increase the extent to which you enjoy the world around you.
How does that work?
It actively stops you from taking things for granted. Life, loved ones, simple pleasures. By acknowledging that everything is fragile, by regularly thinking about the possibility of loss.
It makes you appreciate what you have right now.
Exactly. It confers seriousness, infinite value, and splendor to every present instant. So join us next time as we unlock the surprising power of embracing impermanence to truly savor the life you have.